Hey guys, welcome back to the Daily Crypto Market Update. BTC unfortunately closed a TBO breakdown yesterday. This is the bearish inverse of a TBO breakout, which is not good. Now, there are a couple of caveats you have to understand about these symbols. The same thing goes for the breakouts. If a breakout is printing after a very explosive move, it is most likely going to be a sign of exhaustion, which is what these were. Yes, the price did push up higher, but eventually it topped out. If we go back over here to 2024, we can see that the price didn't really explode up. It did move up a bit, but it wasn't just absolutely raging and then it prints the breakouts. But after printing the breakouts, it explodes up higher and it continues up higher and higher. Now, we actually have to go really far to find the last TBO breakdown, but I want to show you other breakouts here. So here the price moves up 13%, which is massive. But more importantly, it's just coming out of the cloud and it's going right here above resistance. Then we get the breakouts and then we see a huge impulse. Over here, this one is actually a super late breakout and it continued pushing up higher. Let's keep going. There's an exhaustion breakout right there. There's an exhaustion breakout right there, well after the move. Exhaustion breakouts right there after the move. So now we finally get to our first TBO breakout that we've seen, or rather the closest cousin to it, right? So May 10th, TBO breakdown, 3 in a row. Now, when we see 3 of these guys in a row after breaking support, this is basically that bullish inverse that we saw for BTC breaking out in, what was it, February 2024? Okay, so this is bad news bears. What we're seeing right now is the first one, and we're seeing something like this right now. We've already seen a big liquidation event, which is exactly what happened back over here on December 4th. The price of Bitcoin faltered a little bit, went up a little bit, broke support, and then we have our TBO breakdowns. Now, the unfortunate thing is that these TBO breakdowns, even though we did see a big drop, about 20%, the price did recover and we bounced sideways for quite a while from January 19th to about here in May. So for about a, 5-month period, just about, we saw the price of BTC shooting up and down within this range of about, just say 23%, which is generous. If we look at where we are now, the main thing that has me concerned is that this could be an exhaustion breakdown, because we're seeing like, yes, we had a pretty big move of 10%. It goes back up, it falls down again. Seeing a big red candle of 5% with a breakdown is not comforting. The other thing to consider about this too is that Bitcoin is, getting closer to long-term support. So let me show you this next. So this is again for the bullish case for all of you that are holding out for hope, okay? Looking here at this long-term support level, let me get rid of the newest one. So this is the level that has to hold. I like drawing support fans because it gives me incremental levels of support or resistance. So right now, if Bitcoin were to continue falling immediately today and just continues to drop, another 13%? Yeah, just about. That would put Bitcoin at $83,000. That's most likely not going to happen. But this level, if we see BTC go lower, falling down here to about 86K or whatever it's going to be, maybe an 88. But the point that's important is that the moment that this level is broken, it's going to get a lot worse. It's going to get a lot uglier. So we saw something really similar happen back over here as well. And it took time for the price to react. Now, when we have a support fan, so instead of drawing it from the Pico low to the next low, it's from that low to the next successive low. We've already had one of these get broken back over here when it dropped in October. So this next level of support is right now at $90,000. As BTC most likely recovers, maybe a little bit over the weekend, this level is getting closer and closer, which should be cause for worry for a lot, because we are literally right here. Now, the bullish case is this. If you believe that this is the best place to buy Bitcoin, then this would be the proverbial line in the sand for BTC. Well, it could still go lower though. Trust me, it could still go lower, and it will. Bitcoin has confirmed a bear market. I've been expecting Bitcoin to go into a bear market or at least top out in November, not here in October. So it basically jumped the gun in my opinion, but it's okay. If this is the top, then this is the top. And I'm expecting a 75% drop for BTC. That will happen in about a year. So looking at, come on mouse, there we go. Down here to lower 35K is like an easy target by November. So a 72% haircut. And it's already fallen 26%. So still got another 50 or 45% to go, something like that. The fact that BTC printed a breakdown, whether this is going to be an exhaustion breakdown, which means it's a fake and it's actually going to be bouncing from here or not, it's still very clearly bearish. If we go to the weekly time frame, this is also Bitcoin's biggest weekly drop in a while. This week alone, if we close right here, we still have 2 days left, but closing right here, it's a 9% wick. That's pretty disastrous. The last time we got something this big was back on the 3rd of March. That was a 14% wick. Before that, it was back over here. Actually, no, this one, 14% as well. So again, you can make the argument, well, Aaron, your blue dots fired here in September and also here in March. So it's happening again. We're going to see a bounce up from here. To be honest, anything is possible. And to be honest as well, the slowest moving average that comprises of the TBO cloud is still pointing up. So we are still macro bullish on a longer time frame. But to be fair, we were macro bullish on a longer time frame back over here until we got a TBO bear formula. Now, this is the next thing that I'm going to be watching for. We're already getting our first close long. We'll probably get another one. The next thing to watch for is a cross down. And then finally, this right here. This is the open short. Notice that this happens very, very, very late. It happens 41 weeks after printing this first one. Now, we've seen actually a lot of those TBO close longs on the way up. 1, 2, 3. We don't have to necessarily get 2. Usually it's 2. Then we get a cross down, then it's an open short, and then it's a done deal. Bear market confirmed. But to be honest, breaking below this level, bear market confirmed. It doesn't really make a lot of sense in my opinion. Oh, there we go. For things just to bounce back. They could. Now, I saw a lot of people. Oh, wait, I want to go back over here too. I want to check something else. Okay. So another thing that's really interesting too is this parallel channel that I've shared with the people in the Better Traders Club. So there is a chance that this low here on the 17th of October, which is now plotted at 93K, could intersect with this level. So we could get 2 levels of quote unquote support. It's a really, really, really thin piece of straw to stand on. It doesn't have a lot of weight. And it's very risky to say, oh yeah, it's going to bounce from here. I would love to see BTC bounce just like everyone else would. Other good things that could result in a bounce today. Bitcoin officially closed below, daily RSI for Bitcoin closed at 2213. So we're going to have another RSI reset, assuming that BTC closes green on the day. So those are typically good bullish reversal signs. Now, the reality of this is that we're seeing a lot of bearish price action ever since topping out here on 6th of October. So yes, it's possible, but it's not likely. If we go over here to the weekly time frame, Bitcoin's weekly RSI is getting down to some crazy Pico lows. We saw it getting as low as, 27.46 in March. It still took until April for the price to recover. Back over here, this is July. So there's August, had that crazy drop. There's August 5th's drop, but we saw another drop down here for weekly RSI. September 4th, 2023, saw a drop before we saw a massive rally. So it's always possible. That's the thing that I answer people the most. And I think it's still really frustrating for people, to be honest, to swallow that hard pill. But the reality is that anything could really happen. Just because we're in a bear market doesn't mean that we're definitely going to be going down lower and lower and lower. Things could also just spring back to life. Now, are there any bullish catalysts to celebrate? No, not really. I've been talking about this as well for quite a while. on-balance volume is already parroting the signs that we saw back over here. What's more discouraging is that on-balance volume here for the all-time history index did not even exceed the high we got in November. We're already seeing the same signs that it's starting to drop a lot lower, and we'll see it drop a lot more. Again, the whole top-bottom recovery rally thesis is still in play. For all of you that are really upset in the comments, I get it. Trust me, it's not been the easiest market to trade at all. But I will say that back over here in January, I gave you the rules, not the rules. I gave you the guidelines. Top, bottom recovery rally. So this was finishing our bottom year. We started our recovery. We started our rally. This is our top year. And in a top year, we're expecting Bitcoin to top out. Not topping out with an all-time high on December 31st, but that's the year that it tops out. And that's what's happened, which means that now we're going to be heading into a bottoming year. And again, I expect BTC to be going a lot lower. I think it makes more sense to see Bitcoin fall down to some $35,000 level. Now let's use some fibs to actually plot out where it could go. Okay. So I'm not personally expecting Bitcoin to drop all the way down to the low here. That's really silly. Unless there's going to be some sort of like massive market-wide bubble that pops, like an AI bubble, or the stock market crashes, or the big great reset happens, which I'm not really expecting, and people have been calling that for years. But you have to understand that dropping down to 35K is going to be pretty devastating. It could go as low here as to the 0.5 level. There are a couple of reasons why I think it will go to 35K and not touch this, but it could still wick down lower. I mean, it could even go down to 20, 27,000, 28,000. So I'll say it like this. The best case scenario is just 35K, 72%. Now, if we get something really bad that happens next year and the US goes into an official recession and the stock market starts to crash and it's really, really devastating, we could see Bitcoin go back down to 20K. We could. It's not unlikely. It's not impossible, nor is it implausible, right? But again, we have some pretty strong overlapping fib levels here at about 32K, which makes the case, in my opinion, that that's where we could go. I have to go back to this one to get all of my, no, it's right here. My fibs, and I want to go here to 2014. We also have, so this is my main reason why. So we have 3 fib levels around the 30K level. That makes a whole lot of sense for us to find a bottom. The other reason why I think 31K or 35K around that range makes sense is because these legendary Fibonacci extensions from 2014 have done an incredible job of plotting support, resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance. So that's why I mainly think that 31K makes a lot of sense. It lines up with the projected 75-ish% drawdown, which is what we've seen in the previous markets. It's fallen about 77% back over here. In 2022, in 2018, it fell down 83%. So we're seeing less drawdown over time, which should be encouraging for you guys. I know it doesn't feel that good, but it is what it is. All right. Now, another thing to consider is that we have a CME gap, another one, isn't that fun? Right here at 91,970, which isn't too far from our current price. It makes more sense to see that closed. After that, we're good. Aside from some legendary like levels that are like way down here at like $9,000, $10,000, which aren't going to get close. Like that's never going to happen. So this is another thing to keep in mind. It's a pretty nasty daily candle for the CME to close, to be honest, but it does provide some wiggle room. If Bitcoin happens to magically bounce over the weekend up to $99,000, it could, and we wouldn't create any new CME gaps at all. Ethereum still has a CME gap at 28.53. Solana still has a CME gap down here at 122. So got to keep those things in mind. Now, Ethereum, it lost this 34-35 level pretty bad on Thursday. Yesterday dropped more, but not as bad as Bitcoin, to be honest, which should be surprising and shocking to a lot of you. It really should make you wonder, wait, why isn't Ethereum dropping way more than BTC? Bitcoin lost, what is this? I can't see with all this stuff. There we go. It lost 5% yesterday. but Ethereum only dropped 3.69. That should make a lot of you scratch your heads, okay? If we look at stablecoin dominance, as I'm moving intentionally this way, because we have another TBO breakout. So I said before, we have a TBT bearish divergence that printed on Sunday, which is really great, except we saw it just shoot up higher. I said before that even though we have one of these TBT bearish divergences, which is a bearish pullback symbol, it does not discount the slow line. And if the slow line is pointing up, that means that the uptrend is very bullish, which means that the market's very bearish. Back over here, we saw the same thing happen twice. Here in 2025 in February, TBO breakouts and then TBT bearish divergences, and it goes up higher and higher. Again, back over here, TBO breakouts, TBT bearish divergence, and it shoots up a lot higher. Now, for all of you that are holding out hope against hope, I've seen some people talk about this chart, just stablecoin dominance for Tether, right? Saying, oh yeah, well, it's going to bounce from here because it's hitting resistance. I don't know what resistance you're talking about. You're probably isolating and you're not doing a resistance fan, which makes the most sense. So if you're going to be picking and choosing and saying, well, this is where we are, and it's going to be respecting this level, okay. But you're literally just picking out a narrative that you like, and you're not really going off of a real proper resistance fan, which makes the most sense. So if we were to do this one obviously got a higher high, so we got to pop it up here, but it's above resistance. That ain't good. So again, I'm looking at this with the full expectation that we're heading into a bear market. It makes the most sense. Now, if we are to see more pain, that means stablecoin dominance shoots up here to a high of 8.8, which would be the max pain. We might see a bounce after that, because that's what happened back over here in April. This is what happened over here in August. These were the max pain points of the market. And there might be a nice recovery. We did see a good recovery from April 7th all the way over here to August. We did see an amazing recovery from August 5th all the way to December 2024. It's possible. Again, I hate saying it over and over. It's like a broken record, but it's possible. Now, for all of you laughing, again, saying, well, there's no way we're going to have an alt season. Yes, we already are. You guys just aren't looking at the right coins. That's easy. Bitcoin dominance lost 1% yesterday. 1% in a day is massive for Bitcoin dominance. And it's now below the daily TBO cloud. It's back in strong bearish mode. Bitcoin dominance falling. Now look, others dominance actually moved up. What this means, especially others BTC, is now above the cloud, you guys. This means that the others market cap, everything below the top 10 is actually outperforming Bitcoin. Does not mean everything is green, but it means it's not falling as hard as BTC is. When Bitcoin has these little green moments right now, we're going to see alts shoot way higher, way faster, much more aggressively than BTC will. This is still on track, believe it or not, to go up here to 0.15, which will correlate in a selective alt rally. It will happen, and it is happening right now. TOTALE100 confirms this as well. We have a third TBO close short yesterday. So yes, alts are actually going to be doing really well. Not all of them, but this is what I've been saying for the longest time, okay? I have more than I want to share with you, but before I do, I just need to plug thebettertraders.com. Go here, check out our courses. 15 Minutes of Financial Freedom is a great course to start with. From the Better Traders to learn automated trading tools, starting with AllTrading, the best third-party trading platform ever created. So you learn how to use our free TBT signals that have been functioning since November 2020. Also access to the TBO indicator for trend trading strategies and AB trading strategies in the course. Plus it comes with coaching, and you never ever have to pay for renewal fees, no annual fees, no like whatever course update fees, nothing like yeah, I don't like that stuff. And it comes with a 1-month trial to the Better Traders Club. So make sure to sign up to get the course, or if you just want to skip over to the club, that's fine too. If you just want to do the tire kicker tier, that's the starter tier. It's the crypto cheapo tier for $1. And if you want access to the TBO and a lot of other stuff, you have to join the trader tier. Plus, there are links to sign up for Femex and also for BYDFi down below. I still think it's a good time to trade. It's just been really, really, really tricky. Now, I want to get into my picks. So if you have coins you want me to check out, leave a comment down below with what you're interested in. Today's list is not as long, because I'm trying to keep this video a little bit shorter today. So XMR Monero. This one moved up 1% while Bitcoin dropped yesterday. You want to tell me that others BTC is wrong. You want to tell me that Bitcoin dominance dropping and others dominance going up is wrong. I told you, like, there's going to be a selective alt season. I don't know how else to clearly explain it to you guys, but that's exactly what's happening. So XMR is now above this zone where it struggled with historical TBO resistance. It can still go up to its all-time high at 517. And if things were to get really crazy for XMR, because the privacy narrative is still really strong right now, it could go up to $1,000, which is ridiculous. Morpho is not as strong, but it still has valid TBO breakouts on the 4-hour. This is probably exhaustion right here because it happened after an explosive move, but we'll see. For now, it's still above the cloud, so it's still strong bullish. Quantum, which had a crazy pump on Thursday, yesterday it fell all the way back down. My internet, I swear, I literally just got like faster internet. I think I'm just paying more for nothing. It dropped 10% yesterday, but right down to the TBO fast line. So yes, it's pierced overhead resistance. This is long-term overhead resistance. It's got rejected on here on this level many times over, but these are bullish reversal signs. Now, Zcash, if you guys remember this one, I shared it with you back when it fell down earlier this week on Wednesday saying, well, this is what a TBO springboard bounce looks like. You buy on the pullback on a super strong bullish chart, which is indicated by the price being above the cloud and the slow line just pointing up like this. So Zcash has been strong bullish. And what we do is we buy it here and we sell it up basically just below resistance, right where it is right now. And I took this trade. I'm really happy that I did. So we can see that the price is doing really well. It'll probably smack that level and that'll be it. Now, a couple of reality checks. RSI peaked at 95.4 over here. 95.62, 95.4. It's not going to get that high again, just so you know. The fact that it's moving up to its high, its previous high, almost, and RSI isn't even overbought, should tell you a lot about the chart. Sorry, I got the hiccups. Daily volume is still exceeding the yellow moving average right here, but it's not like incredible. It's not absolutely pumping. Everything is still strong bullish, don't get me wrong. But these are the kind of moves where it's like, cool, I'm done. Thanks for playing. And I'm out. That's just how I trade these bounces. And I mean, it's not just a little mini bounce. That's right now it's 44% above the fast line. Stark is pushing up higher. This one had a crazy move up on Monday and it lost about 37%. And now it's right back at it again. It's up 38% after tagging the TBO fast line. It did have TBO breakouts. These are what exhaustion breakouts look like, by the way. Lots of warning symbols. And then finally, Friday night, it just pumps up 32% and it's going up higher and higher. This could be the start of a rally here for StarkNet. I'm betting on it. That's what I've been expecting. That's why I've been buying this one. So we'll see what happens with it. But I think this is the next one to go. Aster is holding up remarkably well for a coin that literally does a whole lot of nothing. It's just an exchange token, but it's being supported. So you got to admire that. Pump, it's clearly lost this long-term level of support right here. But in terms of the TBO indicator, it still is holding on this green dotted line, which is TBO support. Let me delete that. It's a little bit easier to see. We might see a bounce here from Pump. The last time I did this, it pumped up about 35%. So we could see a bounce from here. Dash, it's back above the daily TBO cloud. This is one where we're looking for a TBO springboard bounce and it went against us by 18%, but the same target remains about 33%, so $103 or so. And as long as Zcash is pumping and Monero is pumping, Dash should pump as well. Not that Dash is a privacy coin, but these were all pumping together simultaneously. Solana printed a second TBO breakdown yesterday. It's really bad. It's just real. It's really bad and it's really sad. There isn't a lot of hope for this coin, to be honest. It's extremely bearish. Weekly RSI is down to some crazy levels. Again, you can feel free to reverse trade me. If you want to build a position for this, I would wait till it got down here to like 124 or so, or like closing the CME gap. Around there would be a much better entry, but it's definitely fallen from grace for sure. Telcoin had some crazy price action earlier this week. Yesterday pulled back 14%, but it's still holding above this level of resistance. Is that not insane? So this is a long-term level of resistance too. Started here in February 2025, established here in July. The fact that it closed at this level is nuts, and it's opening right there. That's pretty interesting. BNB, yeah, Binance coin. And I totally did not catch that they did a rebrand for their logo. I don't like it at all. Looks like the FedEx logo or something. Or actually it looks like the, is that Compound? I can't see it. It looks like the skate brand Compound. They totally ripped that off. And it's probably not even that. I can't remember what it's called, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. Now, the thing to watch here for BNB has a higher low on RSI. It's putting in another RSI reset. It did move above RSI last week on Sunday. And of course, it lost a lot. But RSI is going to move up whether or not the price is going to be moving up. But it's a good positive sign that there should be a bullish bounce from here. And in terms of the price, it actually respected this support level. Yesterday, it literally wicked right there to 891, which is impressive. So now we just need to see it bounce back up. 2Z dropped all the way down here to price-based support. It actually wicked a little bit lower, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it just put in a slightly lower low, but it's basically trying to make a triple bottom, which is nuts. Now on to your requests. Link. Yes, it had a TBT bullish divergence over here and over here. As long as the price is below the cloud, it's strong bearish. That's the regrettable part about this. And it's just a waiting game. These are always early bullish reversals. They can be early, like it happens tomorrow, or it happens in a month. It's how it goes. But right now, the next level of strong support for Link is going to be here at $11. Tau, it's in process of printing a TBO open short today. But given the looks of this candle, I mean, it could be a hammer. It does kind of look like a hammer, to be honest, because it's a long lower wick. It's a doji, but it does have a little bit of a upper wick. But anyway, it's just really oversold. The logical target for Tau is here, a TBO support at about 290. DCR, Decred, has stayed above the cloud, even though it had a pullback Thursday and Friday. It seems to be bouncing off of the fast line right now, which is, again, you guys want to be all like, no, everything's terrible. Really? I don't think everything's terrible right now. I mean, a lot of coins are really bad, but it's the same thing I've been saying for a while. Like, it's going to be a selective alt season. You can laugh all you want, but that's what's happening. So if you want to be trading this on the spot market, these are the coins to be watching. Just follow the ones that are leading right now and enjoy the rewards. Like, that's literally it. ABT, massive lower wick yesterday. Looks like a lot of panic selling due to the fear. The only problem with this is that ABT could still fall a lot further. I mean, TBO support is down here at 7 cents and it's at 40 cents. So that's another 81%. It's possible. Say, it is holding historical TBO support here and here. So that's a good sign for Say. But again, as long as any chart is below the daily TBO cloud, it's a sign of being strong bearish, unfortunately. So I would love to see this go up higher. RSI is putting in a higher low, but it's still pretty strong bearish. XPR, not XRP. Just everything is really oversold right now. Doesn't mean though that it can't just have these crazy whipsaw price action where it just comes back out of nowhere. Again, this is telling me that everything below the top 10 should be outperforming Bitcoin. TOTALE100 is telling me that everything below the top 100 market cap is outperforming Bitcoin in terms of dominance. Money is shifting in favor of low caps. Others is performing better than Bitcoin, meaning that it makes more sense to be trading altcoins instead of trading BTC right now. So you can agree to disagree, it's fine, but actually picks like XPR, like that are further down the market cap ranking, could do really well once my internet finally connects. But there's nothing, I don't have anything against XPR or Say ABT, all these coins, but we want to be focusing on coins that are aligning with what the symbols are telling us as far as like bullish growth that's happening for TOTALE100. Ondo, I said it before, it's a good coin. I like the idea of it. I'm all on board for RWA coins. It is at TBO support. So if it's going to bounce, like this is where it bounced back over here in November, and also bounced a little bit over here in September. This would be the place where it moves. If it doesn't, whatever happens, we're still being shown where it's going to be falling to. Sui, yes, I agree with the sentiment that this one is extremely disappointing in so many ways. We need to hide a couple of things because there's a couple of, here we go. There we go. There's a couple of things. So right now it's literally at the last leg of support. Down here on April 7th, where we had that really, really disastrous crash, this marked the bottom and Sui bounced 118% from there. Okay. If we don't see the price bounce from here and we lose this really strong level from back in April, then it's going to be a lot worse. It's going to be a lot uglier. RSI put in, let me see below here. It's 1970, good year. 2025, good years. So we're seeing higher lows on RSI. That's a good sign. It's just, again, we've seen increasing, or rather a decrease in strength over the last five months or so, which is reflected in the price. But things could turn around real fast. If it doesn't bounce from here, then you should consider it over. I got a really good question from someone in the comments asking, like, how do we trade this market right now? What do we do in terms of like our red bags? Well, if you're trading on the spot market, which I don't talk about leverage trading too much on here because I think trading on the spot market is way easier in terms of it being like easier to make a comeback. I've made videos on this channel where it's like, okay, this is how I put myself back in the green after being down like 75%. I'll make sure to leave that video at the end of this one for reference. But the reality is that you can still close out of your positions that are red in the green. It will take time. You'll have to sell in the pumps, even if you're slightly in the red. So that way you have capital freed up to buy on the dips that will happen. You can still trade in a bear market, which again, I've said this before, I've traded in a bear market, many of them, 2018 and 2022. It's not fun, but you can make money trading. It just takes very calculated approaches and efforts. And when you learn how to trade in a bear market, it's just going to be ingrained up here. So when things get really bullish, it's really jarring because you want to stay in the position as long as possible in a bull market, but in the bear market, you've been trained to take profits quickly. So you really have to start changing your mind and how you approach every single trade as we're moving closer into the bear market year, the bottom year that's coming up. So I will leave that video at the end of this one. So this is how I exited a coin that was massively in the red and ended up closing in the green. And stay tuned for tomorrow's video on the TBO. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.